The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Welcome to The Trader, a Spotify Top 10 Traitors podcast. I'm Matthew, a writer working in unscripted TV development, and I am a 100% faithful fan of the TV phenomenon The Traitors. The Trader features deep dives into every episode of English-speaking versions of the show, as well as interviews with contestants. Most recently, you can listen to my interview series with 6 of the key players from the incredible Traitors New Zealand Season 2. But for now, this is a new season of the podcast because the Traitors Canada Season 2 is here. Before we dive into the opening episode, there has been a lot going on in the international world of the Traitors, so it's time for some updates in our TT News segment. Firstly, yet more awards success. The Traitors US performed incredibly well at the Emmys, where Alan Cumming won for Best Host, breaking RuPaul's 8-year streak in the category. The show then also won the Emmy for Outstanding Reality Competition, again beating regular winner RuPaul's Drag Race, as well as The Amazing Race, Top Chef and The Voice. You can read Alan Cumming's thoughts on his win on his Instagram page, and there are plenty of other red carpet interviews with Alan about the Traitors all over YouTube. Just a few days before that, the Traitors UK also won an award for Best Reality Competition at the National Television Awards here in the UK, where host Claudia Winkleman and stars of the show, Diane, Harry and Molly, collected the award on stage at the O2 Arena in London. The NTA winners are decided purely on public votes, so well done if you cast your vote for the Traitors there. I did, more than once. Speaking of the Traitors UK, now that a celebrity version has been officially confirmed by the BBC due to film in 2025, there have been numerous articles all over the British press and media blogs about casting rumours. These have ranged from Tess Daly, Claudia's Strictly Come Dancing co-host, and her husband Vernon Kay, along with Scottish tennis superstar and his mum Judy Murray. I wouldn't really believe any of these rumours particularly, although it wouldn't surprise me if the producers were looking for celebrity couples or parent-child pairings to play on the success of the Diane and Ross storyline from Season 2. Another possible cast member could well be UK reality star Gemma Collins, who originally rose to fame on The Only Way is Essex. The reason being that Gemma recently confirmed in a Daily Star newspaper interview that she was approached to be in the most recent season of The Traitors US, which, as we know, only casts celebrities now. But Gemma had to turn down the role because it clashed with other filming commitments. Other rumours include Stephen Fry, apparently a big fan of the show, and Ricky Gervais. Of course, Friend star Courtney Cox is also a possibility since she did film a social media video with Claudia earlier this year begging to be cast on the show. Time will tell, but don't believe anything you read online just yet. Finally, there are even more Traitors franchises on the way, now including South Africa and India, with the latter due to be broadcast on Amazon Prime Video. This brings the number of countries with their own versions of the Traitors format to 27, with an Irish Traitors still awaiting confirmation. And to add to this as a final note, the Traitors New Zealand Season 1 will be airing on UK TV very soon. The first episode will play on BBC Three on Monday the 30th of September, and if the BBC follow what they've done with other international versions, the entire season will likely then be available straight away on BBC iPlayer. The Trader has already covered the entire season of New Zealand Season 1 in a huge 2-hour recap episode, so UK listeners, you can stream that podcast episode once you've watched the entire New Zealand Season 1 on the BBC. Now on to our new season, Canada Season 2. First, I recommend checking out the Instagram page, I Analyse the Traitors. That's I_analyse with a Z or a Z, _ Traitors. One of their recent posts gives a great recap of Season 1 of Traitors Canada, including who won, how the dramatic finale played out, and some interesting firsts for English-speaking versions of the show. Obviously, don't go and read that post if you haven't seen Season 1 and don't want spoilers. Now, while I will be covering this new season of Canada Season 2, I won't be covering Episode 1. I'm currently working on a big TV show here in the UK, top secret, and the filming schedule has made recording the podcast this week just a little too tricky. However, you're in luck because not only is the Trader regular reality TV guru David Bloomberg hosting this episode from here on in, he's also joined by Canada Season 1 fan favourite contestant Melissa B. So, enjoy the pod, enjoy the season, and I'll be back properly for Episode 2. To quote a British TV classic game show that only people over the age of about 35 will get, and I'll give you a podcast shout out if you send me the name of the show on social media. David, it's over to you.
Thank you, Matthew. Yes, as you said, I'm David Bloomberg, and I've been covering reality TV in print, online, and podcasts for over 24 years. As he also mentioned, joining me this week is the very traitorous Melissa Best.
Hello. Thank you for having me this week.
So I'm just checking here to see if I can tell if you're lying, if you're, vibrating or your eyes are watering or,
Oh, I should. I didn't check my mascara before I got on here. I forgot that I was supposed to be lying today. I have not taken acting lessons yet, David. I've had a year to do it, and I just never.
Oh, my goodness. So as a veteran now of Season 1, what were you thinking heading into this season?
Oh, my God. I've been really amped up for this season. It's actually, I've been more excited for this season than I was for my own season, because my own season carried the weight and the shame of being eliminated on day 3 as a true, reality strategy fan. So there was a heavy cloud of embarrassment that came with my premiere, and a lot of anxiety. So going into this season, I'm just a member of the community. I can laugh at my placement now. I don't have that same shame. From now, it's more like hilarious. It's fun. I feel like I had every role. I had a really good run. So moving into this season now, it feels almost more exciting because I'm part of the team, but I'm not as embarrassed as I was when I first became part of the team. So I'm pumped.
You had nothing to be embarrassed by. So, I mean, just look.
You're kind for saying that.
I mean, Survivor 47, spoiler alert, first person out, huge, well-known John Lovett gets voted out first. So,
You it is. It's one of those things that, until you're there, because we all play these games in our head and we're like, you idiot. You did this and this and this and this and this, and I'm so much better than you. And then you get on the show and you are just you find out exactly why that's not true. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I wear it with a badge of honor at this point because I think I'm the second earliest traitor to be found out in the history, I think, of English speaking versions.
Oh, wow.
So all of the
I didn't
English speaking
realize that.
versions, I was the second fastest traitor to be found out.
Okay.
So that's my badge of honor as my strategic mind is.
Have you fact checked that? There's an account on Instagram that has all these different traders facts. Have you double checked?
I didn't double check that.
Do I
am going-
analyze the traders? I believe is the account.
I do follow them. I didn't check their information, but it came from my traders' information. So Traitors Canada was getting ready for the upcoming season, and they did a best moments of season one. And they trolled me hard. They were like, when Mel B becomes the second fastest trader to get in the whole, English speaking history. So I'm going to take it as a trusted fact check, but maybe they're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to say they're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. We're good. I cry like twice a week now. It's not like it was.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's good that you've improved.
I've improved. We're fine.
But now, see, having been on the show, you were talking about, we all watch these shows. We say, how can you do something so stupid? Now that you've been on the show, you could come and guest on podcasts and say, how can you have done something so stupid?
I'm so excited to be able to sit on my couch and call people idiots. I'm so I can't wait to sit
did you
down
look
and be
ahead
like,
at my notes for this episode?
Yeah. Oh, listen, we are on the same page because I'm just so excited to sit here and be like, am I allowed to curse on this? You flippin' moron. So I'm very excited about that. Getting to watch as somebody who's experienced it, but still a huge TV fan is truly a gift. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Well, all right. Before we get into it, let's set up the Trader game, where, of course, both of us will lie to one another once during the podcast. The lie can be big or small, about the traders, yourself, or anything else, as long as it is a complete fabrication. However, we are looking for fake facts, not fake opinions. Like, I can't say, I wish there were a dozen psychics on this season, which, anyone listening regularly would know was an obvious lie anyway.
I would believe that.
At the end of the episode, we'll then put our trader hunting skills to the test. I will look deeply into your eyes to determine which, audio only listeners don't know anyway. So they'll just have to take my word for it. And we will see if we can detect the other person's lie. Are you ready to betray me?
You know what? I am. I forgot about the Traitors game because our last time, I don't think I got to play it before. And I remember being like, that was always what I wanted to do. And then today I would have spent my whole day thinking up my lie and I forgot about it. But I can think one up on the spot. This is going to be redemption for Mel B season one.
Okay.
I'm going to have a good lie and you are not going to figure it out.
All right. Well, that's pretty good odds. My ability to figure it out, especially when I'm the one giving the main recap, I'm paying attention to where are we and everything else. So you have pretty good odds.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah. All right. Well, our game begins now. So if you just lied to me about not having made up a lie, that doesn't count.
I gotcha.
It was too soon.
Okay. Another lie coming in. Okay. All right. We're good.
All right. Well, I want to mention, to start by mentioning that we're going to be talking about the version of this episode that was aired on TV, not the version with the extra footage that is supposed to be available online, because as of the time we recorded, that wasn't out yet. So
I have heard back from one of the cast members. She did update me about an hour ago and said that it is currently streaming. They uploaded Allegedly, the wrong version was uploaded. It was supposed to be the extended version on the streaming site, and they put the TV version on there. So that's homework for me for later, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I think we're both on the same page with what we've seen. So that's good.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, we begin with foreboding music as Corrine walks in with shoes that have fangs in their heels.
Obsessed with those shoes. As soon as I saw it, I went, where can I get a pair? And it just, I've got this vampire theory about Corrine where I feel like she's this eccentric millionaire vampire. Like there's a darkness to the manor and the game, and every series has like a different kind of theme, I think, that the host kind of takes on. And she's got this vampirous energy. So when I saw those shoes, I was like, you know what? You're welcome, CTV and Bell and all the production crew. You're welcome for that idea, because I think they're running with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally running with it. Although it would be hard to run in those heels, but
she could do it. She can do anything.
She plays a bit of the theme on piano, or at least it looks like. Who knows if that was and introduces the show. We meet a few players, including Kevin from The Bachelorette Canada, Hennock, a retired football player, Chris from Naked and Afraid, Cedric from The Amazing Race Canada, and Melinda from Canada's Drag Race. Then we have Gail, a former pro wrestler from Amazing Race Canada, Netta from Big Brother Canada, who says she goes guns blazing, but hopes she's adjusted to be a little nicer. Mary Jo, a TV and podcast host. I don't know what TV host or podcast host, so I don't know if you do.
I'm not familiar. No, I'm not, unfortunately.
Kirkland from Farming for Love, which is apparently, considering this is the second player from Farming for Love, must be much bigger in Canada than I would have expected. So
I've heard of it from this show.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not huge, but I guess it has great contestants.
Yes. And eventually Girling found love. It just took 2-3 shows.
Well, I was wondering if Kirkland would find love at the manor as well, but I believe he actually found love on the farm. So I guess that's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, that'd be great. 2 for 2.
Kira is a fitness YouTuber who says she's good at lying because all fitness YouTubers are good at lying. No, wait, sorry, that's not what she said. She said it was because she did things she wasn't allowed to do in a very Christian household growing up.
You mean that I can't get a 6-pack just from buying a series of shakes? What are you talking about?
I know. If only you bought all of their supplements, you would look just like them with no effort,
Wondering why my abs haven't showed up yet.
Yes. There's also Pac-Man, not spelled like the little guy who eats ghosts, but he's a gamer and content creator. We don't have the usual fake psychic. Sorry, that's redundant. But we do have Michael, the paranormal enthusiast, who definitely looks the part. You could find him in a haunted house somewhere.
Easily.
Yes. I have to admit, I did not know any of those players. And I have not seen any Canadian reality shows other than the Traitors, because my time is already overwhelmed by U.S. shows and international versions of Survivor. I tried watching Big Brother Canada once when a fellow podcaster was supposed to be on, but it was when they had that stupid angel devil twist.
Season 6, I remember.
Yeah, she was supposed to get voted in, and she wasn't because they set her up as the devil, and apparently Canadians like angels better. So literally before I could even figure out how to watch, I was trying to get it on my TV to watch live through something or other. And then I saw on Twitter that she hadn't been voted in. I was like, screw this. And I never turned it on again. Yeah, I'm out. Held it against them forever.
Listen, David, now you don't need to worry about it because they have since benched it. And I'm just going to take a little minute because I am heartbroken about this. I do think they are searching for a new network, and I do believe it'll come back. But let's RIP. Let's have a moment, because I know you haven't seen it, but Big Brother Canada was epic. And Netta, who is on this series of The Traitors, she was actually on the season right before Kirsten almost made it in. She was on the stage. So the season before that, Netta was on, and that was the season that her fans turned against her because she was on season 2 and she was a huge fan favorite. She had an amazing run, extremely strategic. She carried the winner through. And then at the very end, he knew that she would probably cut him. So he flipped and cut her.
Oh.
Fabulous. Really, really great moment. And then she had another, probably one of the most viral YouTube moments in season 5, where she basically won immunity from Canada until jury. And then the day that jury started was a double eviction. And she had this big fight with Ika Wong. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's another, two-time, Big Brother Canada. So she had this huge blow up with Ika Wong, and two of them were yelling in the pantry during commercial break. And ultimately, Netta found her demise. But she went from, fan favorite to the casual community will say, not really enjoying her as much. So it's going to be really exciting to watch her. She's probably one of the ones I'm most excited about watching her on this season to see kind of what she does.
So it's been a few years for her since she's been on.
Since season 5 of BB Can, and they just got cut in season 12. So
okay,
good while.
More than a few years. I had intended. BB Canada was on Paramount Plus in the US for a while.
Like an hour.
I mean, and then I was like, oh, okay, during an off season, I can start catching up on some of it. And then it disappeared with no explanation. And it was like, okay, I guess I won't.
Yeah, I think we don't know the explanation for why the network that had it shelved it. It seems to have been money.
Yeah.
There are a lot of articles about that company itself, has some things to pay off, and it's been in the news a lot. So Big Brother Canada has been canceled by that network, but up for grabs still. So I believe my theory, because I've got all kinds of theories.
Yes.
I'm into the theories. So my theory is that they were probably putting it on Paramount Plus as a way to get American viewers over and probably bring in more money or whatever. And maybe it got too expensive to continue doing that. I don't actually know how that side of things works, but it definitely had something to do with that.
And the problem is, with all these Canadian shows and all the international shows, it's like, okay, let's say they get a bunch of American viewers. Does it help them? Does it add anything to their commercial value or anything? No, not really. They all know, especially with the Traitors, they all know that people watch internationally, but they don't gain anything out of it other than like, we do a podcast. I'm in the US. Matthew is in England. We do a podcast. People listen. Hopefully for them, it translates to more Canadian viewers, which is really what they care about.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. Well, the players all come to the Manor's lawn and grab drinks, and I'm immediately looking to see if any of them are like a different type of wine or champagne, but it doesn't look like they used that trick from the recent New Zealand season.
There's no deadly rosé.
No. After talking for a little while, they are surrounded by a bunch of people who all walk up out of nowhere wearing the typical Traitors gold masks. Karine welcomes them all and gets things moving quickly by offering to add $10,000 to the prize pot right away if 5 of them volunteer to be put on death row tonight. And my immediate thought, what I immediately wrote, and I can tell, obviously listeners can't tell this, but the look on Melissa's face is the same thing that I was thinking. Oh, hell no. Anyone who does this is an idiot.
You've got to be kidding me. Like, I'm watching it going, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then I know the power of TV. Maybe it wasn't immediate, but it looks like immediately 5 players just walk on up. And they're like, oh, hey, I'll be a 1 in 5 chance to get murdered tonight so that I can earn 10 grand for the pot. Are you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I won't curse, but are you kidding me? What? Like, as somebody who was sent home on day 3 and still not quite over it, mostly over it, you cannot volunteer on night 1 to be 1 in 5 to get murdered. It is bad enough that you're 1 in 18 or whatever, however the math works with the Traitors involved. Now, the only thing I could think of when I was watching this, and a couple of players did say this as they went through, but my thought process was, okay, one of those 5 has to get picked because they don't even have the Traitors picked. So I'm thinking, in order to walk up there, you have to think that one of these 5 is going to get picked as a traitor.
Well, it makes it worse for you then.
Do you think? Well, yeah, because then you're going to be looked at once the 4 go, you're the only one left. Yeah. But still, like, that was the only thing I could think of as a reason to volunteer for this. That, or they said, listen, guys, you are not going to bed tonight until 5 players step up here because this is our twist.
I mean, I think it's that, we've all watched enough reality TV. Some people don't get it. They just don't get it. And, I've said this many times before. I said it just last week on the Survivor 47 premiere podcast that I do. You can't win the game in the first day, but you can lose the game in the first day.
Absolutely.
And
can confirm. And
people still don't understand getting money for the pot doesn't do any good if you're not there to get it at the end.
And 10 grand, like, stop. Please sit down. Go back, drink your rosé. Like, no, you are right. You're putting a target on yourself immediately, and you're literally. So here's why I think the twist came in. When I was in the conclave, day 1, they gave us no pictures, no names. We had to sit, me, Mike, and Kuzi, or stand around our barrel, and we had to go through, what was it at the time, 17? There's 20 of us. 17 options of who we were going to murder. And we couldn't remember half of them. So ultimately, we go back and forth. We land on, spoiler alert for season 1, we land on Erica. And I mean, I'm sorry, Erica, but it was mostly because we could remember who she was. And it was.
Well, that's good, because on her Survivor season, nobody remembered who she was.
I've heard. But it was like a big statement move. But, ultimately, I think production has this twist at the beginning. So everybody can go home earlier because they don't need to watch 3 people in the conclave try to remember everybody's names. And I also think that if they do this, top 5 or whatever it is, in a way, they can kind of control the big names not going home, because usually, like, for example, Netta did not step forward. Usually these big strategic minds, or like we'll call them the big celebrities, big players, are not going to make that move. So I think it was like a little bit of a twofold. It was, they're only going to have 5 people to choose from. We don't need to worry about them trying to remember 20 people. And Netta's probably going to survive because she's not going to do this. So she's not going to be on death row. So we don't have an Erica situation like last year. So that's where my brain went. I don't know why anybody would volunteer for it. I certainly wouldn't.
I don't know either, but you just brought up something that somehow hadn't clicked with me. There are no Survivor players on this season.
There are no Survivor players.
And that's sad, because there are some really good Canadian Survivor players. So
there are. I think the closest we have is Naked and Afraid Chris.
Yes. So anyway, Corrine asks for the 5 bravest. I say she's asking for the 5 dumbest.
I'm with you.
Aaron agrees with us, saying it makes no sense to volunteer. Cedric won't put himself out there for no reason. We get like a half quote from Kirkland that just says, "For the group if you're no longer in the game." And I'm like, what was the rest of that quote? What?
I don't know if it was a glitch or not. I'm trying to remember. I would imagine that he's saying, what's the point in getting the money for the group if you're no longer in the game?
Right. That's what I think too.
Yeah. I don't remember it being cut off. It could have been a stream thing.
I went back and rewatched it. I was like, that is just weird. Okay.
I will let you know when I watch the extended version later tonight, because I absolutely will. So I'll let you know.
That is not my lie. I will tell you that is not my lie. And me saying that was not my lie.
I forgot about the lie.
Well, me saying that was not my lie is also not my lie. So
okay.
Boy, we could just keep going on forever.
I know. It could be forever.
Hennick volunteers and says he wants to show he's a leader. Which to me is like, that's a great idea. Show the traitors that you're a leader of the faithful. That makes perfect sense. Sure, they appreciate your help for pointing that out. Netta is as aghast at this idea as we are. Chris says he doesn't fear anyone. And Lauren, the model and entrepreneur, says she just felt her body moving forward. Yeah, okay.
And you know what? I kind of understand that in a sense, because if you're somebody who raises their hand a lot for things, if somebody comes into a room and says, who wants to set the table? Who wants to, speak to this crowd of people? Whatever it is. Like I'm one of those people. Like I'm usually one of those people. If somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I need a volunteer for," I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll help out. I mean, it could have been one of those things where they said it and she just, because she says later she regretted doing it. Like she's upset that she did it. So I mean, I do believe
find out next week if she's really upset.
We're gonna see.
Yeah.
I do believe her that it was just instinct. I think that she agreed and then thought about it after and went, "Oh, that was a really stupid decision." But I still don't think I would have done it, but I can almost see where she's coming from with I just felt my body move.
This is why you need to get used to, like when my wife says, "Can you do me a favor?" I say, "It depends." I don't just say yes. I say it depends. And that's what you say for everyone. Don't just, when someone says, "Will you do me a favor?" If you say yes, they could say, "Well, I've got this person that I killed out in the backyard and I need you to bury the body." I mean, don't just say yes. Find out what they want you to do first,
That's solid advice.
Yeah. And Lauren did find out and still did it. So
exactly. Yeah. Not a great decision.
No. Kevin says the number one goal is to win money, and now they have 10 grand. Yeah. Yes, Kevin.
No, it's not. No, it's not, Kevin.
The number one goal is for you to win the money.
Why wasn't this the Kevin I had? Honestly, that would be a freaking godsend. Like, let's reverse it, swap them out.
Yes. Yeah. Every time it says, or I wrote Kevin down in my notes, I was like, Kevin. Oh, wait, different.
I know.
Totally different.
I know.
We meet Lori, who is a kindergarten teacher, and she says she knows a liar when she sees them because of dealing with 5-year-olds. Now, my wife is a kindergarten assistant, and I get stories all the time. And let me tell you, kindergartners are not accomplished liars. They're just not.
They lie often, but yeah, they're not. They're learning.
They're not good at it. Yeah.
They're learning how to be good at it.
Yeah. I remember my own son when he was little. I mean, he's not little anymore. But when he was little, older than kindergarten, because he was old enough that we left him home alone. But this just still proves the same point. He had been punished and wasn't allowed to watch TV. Well, we left the TV on like the History Channel or something when we turned it off. When we came home, it was on Nickelodeon. Do you think that maybe he watched TV while we were gone? And of course, we confronted him with that, and he crumbled. So yeah, not very good liars.
No. They need work.
Yeah. In addition, let's see here, Trana, if I'm pronouncing that right, from Big Brother Celebrites. I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be like Celebrity. Like I believe it's like the Quebec version of like Celebrity Big Brother. Okay. Yeah,
I figured that, but I don't know how to pronounce the French version of it. So hopefully this will be the only. Anyway, they're amazed that anyone volunteered. So right on board. Now it's time for Karine to question people about whether or not they want to be traitors. We don't see all the names here, but one woman is a former cop who believes she can spot liars because of it. We later find out she's Nichelle, I believe. Players are, we'll get more of these clips later, but then players are seated at the round table for the traitor selection. They all put on their blindfolds. Back to the clips. We find out that the two YouTubers are actually brother and sister. Kira says it would be easy to murder her brother. I'm hoping that's just in the game.
Hilarious line. So good.
Yes. And indeed, she is selected as the first traitor. Unsurprisingly, Netta is the second. And I would have been shocked if she hadn't been. Just not having watched the show, just knowing a little bit about her, recognizing her name, I would have been shocked. She had just better hope that the other players don't feel the same way.
This is my thought process. Yeah. It's like, but you know what? I can tell you from being in there, a lot of those thoughts go away once the traitors are selected, because who you think is going to be a traitor. Now, I mean, they're right. Yeah. like even my season, I was going into the round table thinking Kuzi or Kevin, like one of them is going to be a traitor. But like once the traitors are selected, it's like the Men in Black light. Everybody's mind just kind of gets erased and they just start looking at clues, quote unquote, confirmation bias of, Melissa had wet eyes. Mary, you were just lucky that I happened to be a traitor. It was a terrible read.
Yes.
But in all honesty, like, you just start looking around and looking at how everybody's acting, and then the paranoia gets all over the place, and all of a sudden the perfect absolutely would be a traitor. You don't even think about it anymore. So
right.
My fear was that Netta would get found out just based on who she is, because she would be the perfect traitor.
She still may. She
might, right? We're still on episode 1, so we'll see.
And what you mentioned there about the read, the read, quote unquote, of your wet eyes, is, we've discussed, I think we discussed it a bit in New Zealand, where what they do. They interview everyone. Everyone except the traitors, of course. Every faithful is like, well, I saw someone doing this. I saw someone doing that. Well, they're only going to use the clips that are useful to them in one way or the other. Either the ones that point to the actual traitors, or the ones that lead someone in a wildly wrong direction that comes up later in the storyline. So viewers are not getting an accurate read of the reads. They're thinking, wow, it's amazing. This person said this. Well, they probably also talked about 5 other people.
Well, like, for example, Kara immediately spotted Michael's, beard stroke and started talking about it.
Right.
She could have also said, I also think Cedric is one because he's doing this, and Rebecca is one, and Enoch is one. Like, she probably went around that manor that day, just throwing out names left, right, and center. Like, who knows?
Right.
We only see 40 to 90 minutes, depending, of like a full 12, 14-hour day, you know?
Right.
Hey, true crime fans. Tired of ads interrupting your gripping investigations? Good news. With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. After all, ads shouldn't be the scariest thing about true crime. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free true crime. That's amazon.com/ad-free true crime to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
All right. Well, we only see those two, though. It looked like Perrine was about to touch another sholler before it cuts to commercial. When it comes back,
this twist. I have to say, I love that twist. I enjoyed it.
Because, they come back and she's having them remove blindfolds. At that moment, my immediate thought was, does anyone have watery eyes? Netta is doing everything she can to avoid any tells like watery eyes or fidgeting or drinking water. We've seen drinking water very recently in New Zealand be used. Nick is analyzing his sister, but she says she couldn't keep eye contact with him, so we'll see how that goes. Mike, the true
I'm excited to see if it comes out that they're related. That's what I want. And I would love it if it was an epic Traitors UK type reveal. Was it UK where the brother and sister or boyfriend, girlfriend? I would just be ecstatic to see that just blow everybody's mind halfway through the game.
Yes.
So I'm hoping for it.
Mike, the true crime podcast host, sees Michael rubbing his beard, just like you mentioned. Now, here's the thing. If you have a beard like Michael, you have to be stroking it. It's made for it. You have to be doing that at all times.
I was thinking it because he drank his water. He did both. He drank his water and he stroked his beard. But I was watching it thinking, if I had a beard like that and I drank water, I would also do it. If I drink water now, sometimes I touch my lips and just make sure that there's no water on my face. So if you have a beard, that's probably just instinct,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll strip my much shorter beard here, you know.
I probably got some mustache hairs growing in.
So let's see here. Someone is suspicious of Chris. I just wrote he. I don't know who the he was. Maybe it was Mike also. Then Jasmine is,
I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
Is suspicious of Aaron. And all of them, I mean, I'm just naming names. I can't even picture half these people, much like you from, you know, what you mentioned. All of them are basing it on a variety of BS tells. And then Dylan speaks up and says something about the Traitors considering who among the death row players they should go after, which immediately earns him suspicion because people are like, why did you say anything in a time when there was no reason to say anything?
I mean, those roundtables are so tricky because once the blindfold comes off, from a traitor's perspective, all you're thinking about is how not to look like a traitor.
Right.
And then the faithfuls are looking at who's doing weird things to not look like a traitor. And nobody knows when to speak because a traitor doesn't want to speak because it's going to look suspicious. And a faithful doesn't want to speak because they don't want to look suspicious.
Right.
Like I can remember when the blindfolds came off on our season, Donna immediately goes, "It's been nice knowing you all." And I took that and ran with it. I was like, guys, she's a traitor. She's going to start murdering. She said, "It's been nice knowing you all." And like Donna was up for elimination that very first night because she was that first person to speak after the blindfolds came off. So it's a really tricky position because if you're not the first person to speak, nobody speaks.
Right.
But it's got, you know, it's a weird moment.
Yes. Don't speak first in general. Yes.
So we'll see if that's, I don't know, like, oh, Dylan.
Yes. The players break up into discussion groups. Kira tells us she's seen the show and knows what to do in terms of keeping eye contact, I guess, except for with her own brother. And, you know, don't change your behavior. And this is where she talks about, like you said, Michael stroking his beard. And she tells people about that. A number of names are brought up. I didn't keep track of them all. Several people say they're sure one of those on death row is a traitor, which, you know, we talked about this a little bit, but it would make sense in a situation where the traitors pick death row, not necessarily here, because production already has a pretty good idea of who they want to name. Probably not finalized until that last minute, but it's not like production is going to say, oh, we're going to pick this, you know, one of these 5 more boring people to be, you know, a traitor when we already have our selection. I'm not trying to diss any of those 5 people. I'm just saying. The other thing is, if you're the type of person who volunteers for the good of the group, you're probably not a good traitor.
True. I also still think it's wild that they picked 5. That's so many. Like, that's a big chunk to say, oh, hey, listen, like, one of these 5 is going to be, you know, murdered. I don't know. Well,
at the beginning,
it's a wild twist.
At the beginning, she said some of you. And it wasn't until later. So I wonder if it was however many they could convince to step forward. And then it became 5.
Well, that is just too many. Like,
well, but,
1 was bad enough.
I think 5 is better than 3 to volunteer. You know, you've got at least better odds of surviving.
If you're one who's volunteering, but if there's already 3 up there and you don't have to do it, like, okay, bye. You know?
Exactly.
Maybe see you tomorrow.
Yeah. A few people immediately pick up on Cedric because he seems to have some very manic energy.
I love Cedric. I wrote him today and I said, you are the Mel B of this season, except you're not actually a traitor. This manic, like, this is why I got called out last year, was because everybody just said, you're too confident. I had all this energy. I was going around. Like, the difference is I wish I had done a little bit more of what Cedric is doing, where he's going around and he's giving names. That was one of the things that I lacked in my game. So, you know, if he had been a traitor, this is probably the route I would have taken. So, you know, I guess it goes to show that that's probably also not a good thing to do. Maybe I wouldn't be a good traitor again. But I really enjoy watching him. I hope he doesn't get banished early because I think he's going to be fun on the show.
Yeah. Even actual traitor Kira thinks that Cedric may be one along with her since they don't know yet.
I know.
Meanwhile, he's pushing Rebecca. Everyone hops into their cars for the first mission. They come upon a tower surrounded by cannons, which they're going to use to destroy the tower. Inside is $10,000 worth of gold. They have 20 minutes to find hidden cannonballs in the woods, some of which have puzzles associated with them. And they're off. They find a code that they have to solve using a math equation, which leads to a whole bunch of people realizing they're no good at math. Others start finding individual balls and lugging them back, realizing, oh, this is really heavy. I think they said it was a 40-pound
40 pounds. Yeah. That's no joke.
No. Someone else finds a puzzle where you have to make a pyramid out of balls that are connected together. Now, this exact puzzle used to be on Survivor. They used to use it on Survivor until it was memorized by a player and solved in seconds. Like, they got to it, solved it in seconds. And Jeff Probst, the host, said, okay, we're not using that puzzle anymore.
Maybe that's they used it because there were no Survivor players going on there. They were probably maybe there were Survivor people that were contacted, and then Traitors was like, you know what, we wouldn't get to use that puzzle, so let's just not do
this
it.
all important cannonball puzzle. So but apparently nobody in this group studied that. Kevin takes the lead in untangling a bunch of knots on a chest that ends up holding 5 cannonballs. Cedric keeps going on the math problem. They eventually get it for, I think, another 5 cannonballs. They run back just in the nick of time in true Traitors fashion, always at the last second.
I couldn't believe it that they just made it. It was wild.
Amazing. Yes.
It's wild.
So they end up with a total of 28 cannonballs, which means it's time to load and fire. And yes, boom, boom, boom. They knocked down this basically plywood tower. I'm sure it was fun. It looked fun.
It looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, they blow it up. It's a more unique idea for a mission, I would say. And then they get $10,000. Boom.
I really enjoyed, but you know what? They're at 20K now because our season started off with 30K. So when I saw this one, I'm like, 10, okay, great. And then another 10, I'm like, well, they're still only at 20K. So, but I mean, like, they're going to lose and gain. And I mean, I'm sure by the end of it, it'll be close to 190 something, whatever. But, you know, when I was watching this, I was like,
I guess about 75 or 80. I think that's
you think? Yeah. Because I think last year Mike got 94 or 96, somewhere around there. I didn't keep track of it because I didn't care because it wasn't me. But so I only kind of cared. But I got to say, I was watching this mission. I was like, this is one I would have loved to do. Like, I know it sounds so like it's simple. It's running through the woods and finding cannonballs and running these 40-pound cannon. But it looked like fun.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go run those.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It was good.
So on the way
I normally
back,
don't like them.
on the way back, players talk about wanting to get a traitor in the first vote. So they're trying to beat a certain record, you know.
This is all my cast spoke about. It is all everybody kept saying, we're going to be the first to get one in the first night. And I mean, keep in mind now, spoiler alert, but New Zealand season 1 hadn't aired. That aired when we got back. So I had thought I was the earliest traitor in history at the time, but you know, it like everybody was saying, we're going to get one on night 1. We're going to get one on night 1. And it's one of the reasons that in my final speech, I had said after, you're going to have a really good night because you just got yourself a traitor. Yes. And it was because that's all we talked about was we want to get one out immediately. We want to show everybody that Canada's amazing. And anyway, it turns out it wasn't that Canada was amazing. It was that Mel B was that bad.
No. Well, these players still have not watched New Zealand, so they still think they would be the first ones to do it.
I wonder, will they do it? Do we think that they're going to?
I'm going to say no. But I forgot. I forgot to write up some predictions, so I think I'm going to have to.
We can wing it. We can wing it.
Yeah, we'll wing it. Anyway, in support of the idea of doing that, Hennick tells Kira he can tell she's a bad liar, so it can't be her.
I loved this.
So
I loved
good job.
this.
Good job. Yes.
It was so good. And she was so, I thought she got caught there because she, like, when he caught her off guard, she kind of hesitated a minute when he said that to her. And I was like, she might have just gave herself up there, but it seemed to go unnoticed. So we'll see. But I really enjoy when somebody gets fooled like that.
Well, and how do you know? I can tell you're a bad liar. You've known them for less than 24 hours. They've never lied. As far as you know, they've never lied to you about anything.
Yeah.
So
they're all going off vibes. It's just going off connections and who vibes with who the best. And, like, unless you're doing something super suspicious, there's no real way of knowing. You just kind of start voting out the people that you don't trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that comes down to connection.
Yeah. When they get back and break into groups, Cedric's name comes up again. Eventually, night falls, and Karine brings out the traitors one by one to take their oaths. Kira is first, then Netta. Those two meet in the tower and appear to be very excited to see one another. But it turns out that Netta is worried Kira is too smart and will backstab her. Loved it.
Loved that. I loved that confession. I immediately did flashback to, I know I don't mean to keep bringing it back to my season, but this is where we are.
Yeah.
But I flashed back to when I found out that Kuzi was a traitor, and I was excited because I'm a fan of Kuzi's, but I did not trust her at all. And I felt like there was always a distance. Now it was, I've since found out it was all on me, but it was because I just didn't trust her. I'd seen her play and I just didn't feel that she was going to save me. And again, misread because she really tried. But when I saw Netta do this, I really enjoyed it because it shows as well. I mean, traitors working together is great, but how much more fun is it to watch when they're all against each other as well? The faithfuls are looking for all the traitors, and then the traitors don't trust each other. That's just chaos, and it's just beautiful. So I enjoyed it.
Well, you want chaos, then the third walks into the tower cloaked, and it is the evil beard stroker, Michael.
I was pumped. Like, I really wanted Cedric or Dylan. I had a vibe. I was thinking one of those were going to be traitors. But Michael is such a great pick. I think he's going to be really fun to watch.
He looks the part. But the funniest thing to me is that Netta immediately tells us she also thinks he'd backstab her. So my question is there anyone she doesn't think would backstab her? Because they're all going to.
Netta knows the game, and she's projecting because she is going to backstab them.
Yes.
So by setting it up and saying, hey, this guy might or that girl might, they're going to backstab me, she could be the one to do it first, which is my prediction for Netta. I think she's going to play great to their faces. And then in the background, she's going to try to set up her game so that the faithfuls trust her the most. And then I think she's going to start chipping them away. I think her goal is going to be to get rid of the two traitors who were picked so that she can handpick her own partners.
Yeah. Well,
and obvious ones so that they get banished before her.
Right. And the thing is that Kira has already essentially been backstabbing Michael without knowing it because, as we discussed earlier, she had brought up his name and she, was kind of like, he can go. So, I think Michael's going to be the first one to go.
I don't know. I will say I thought Kara made a mistake.
Overall.
First traitor.
Yeah.
I think that Kara made a mistake in the conclave. Before Michael came in, she had said to Netta, nobody suspects me. Like, people have been saying that there's no way I could be a traitor. And I think that was a mistake. So it's great that she's in that position. But I think letting the other traitors know how solid you are is not a good way to play it. Because, at the beginning, you all want to work together. You want to get there to the end. But let's remember, the end of this game is that if there's a traitor left, the traitor takes all. If there's more than one traitor at the end, don't they do like the prisoners gamble or whatever it's called?
Yeah, share or steal.
Right? So they share or steal. That's an even harder place to be. At least if you're a traitor and you're there with all faithfuls, you're golden.
Right.
But when you get to the end and you're there with another traitor, you've still got this other read.
Yeah,
to
the
pull,
only
right?
so the only way I can see it coming down to share or steal and it working out is if the other traders are knocked off and Kira brings her brother on as a trader and they make it to the end together. It's because I've said you have to put so much trust. Well,
I have to say,
a sister is not going to steal from the brother or vice versa, I believe.
I think I would love to. Okay. I mean, we're going off, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think a brother and a sister make it to the end and they probably steal for the hell of it. Maybe one shares and the other one steals. And like,
the problem is, though, if you both steal, then
and they don't
there's
have
no
any.
money. Yeah. So that would be terrible. I mean,
where have we seen that before?
That
sounds like a great ending. That sounds like
I know.
fun
That's crazy.
Season.
But so I don't know. It sounds like an ending that couldn't be topped. Like they would just cancel it after that.
I agree. That's the end.
Yeah. Anyway, they start going through death row names. Hennock is off the table because of his strength for mission. So this was a good mission for him. And of course, Kira wants him off the table anyway because he said he completely trusts her.
100%.
Kira also wants to keep Lauren. She says because she might be seen as a traitor, tells us it's because Lauren completely trusts her. So yeah, she's fine with those two. So it could be one of the other three. And the traitors come to agreement on who to murder. And we're left on the usual cliffhanger.
I want to see if they tell us on that extended. I don't think they will.
No.
It would be
They'll
too
fill
much
it
of a
with
spoiler.
like more interviews and discussions and
I want to
stuff
see
like
round
that.
table. I want to see a bigger round. Oh, we didn't really see a round table though, did we?
No, just maybe more discussion after Dylan brings it up. They're not going to. Who's left as of the three? We've got.
I wrote it down. So there's Kevin, Dylan, and Chris, and I feel so. My investigation skills. And I did not check this again after, like I was supposed to, because I remember going, I'm going to check that. And then I went to work and I had a ridiculous day. So my investigation skills, I feel like Kevin was in the preview, like the opening, like doing other missions. So that leads me to believe, and again, this is my Snapchat memory that I'm relying on, which is basically when I open a tab, it goes away like on Snapchat. So I don't actually know.
I would hope they wouldn't do something that dumb.
David.
Yeah. Okay.
David.
Yeah.
David. But so I feel like Kevin's not going to be the one. So I do think it's down between Chris and Dylan.
And they'd be fools to get rid of Dylan after he mouthed off like that.
100%. 100%. Like Dylan is suspect number one at the table. He speaks first. Chris seems to be a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quiet.
I don't know. How could you be reserved when you ran around a whole other show naked?
3 seasons. He did 3 seasons. Yeah, like that's a lot. But yeah,
he wasn't that afraid then. Just a lot of naked.
He was just naked, right? Yeah. And I believe he did well on the show. So but in this, from what we're seeing, we're not seeing a lot of him. We're
literally and figuratively.
We're not seeing what we signed up for, but that's another story.
Yeah.
So it does lead me to believe that, based on who they're taking off the table, or Kevin, if what I saw was wrong, like if he's not actually in the other missions, because again, he's not really saying a whole lot. Right. So I don't know. I don't see it being Dylan. My prediction is probably Chris.
That makes sense. That does make sense. All right. Well, what's your prediction for the first person to be eliminated at the round table?
I have no idea. It's really, really tricky. Maybe Dylan. There's Dylan, there's Cedric, there's Rebecca, there's Michael, right? Like there's
Rebecca
names being thrown out.
An odd situation because I don't even remember anything about Rebecca except that several people mentioned her name. Like, why would they throw that in there?
Yeah.
Unless
I've got high hopes for Rebecca. So Rebecca is from Newfoundland.
Okay.
And we are nuts about people who are from here. Like we are the craziest community, like insane. So we're East Coast, but when we see a Newfie on a show, we stand behind them wholeheartedly. So I want her to get so far. And I'm also triggered because I was the newfie on this show last year. So I'm like, come on, do the job for me. Like, you got this. So when I hear her name being brought up on episode 1, I'm like, stop it. That's enough. You take her name out of your mouth and carry on. So I don't know. I don't know. I really want her to make it far.
Yeah.
As far as first boot, did I say Cedric? I could I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are the names that they're saying, but then I also wonder, are they doing that to throw us off?
Well, they always do it to throw us off, but
right. So are none
like I
of
said,
them
the
going to be up for elimination?
The Rebecca one is just so weird.
Super random.
Because we didn't see
a lot.
any. Yeah. So why? Which makes me think she's going to be the first one. Sorry.
Because we didn't. But wouldn't they give us more?
Maybe there wasn't more to give. Maybe all they had, sometimes we see that on other shows like Survivor. You're supposed to, in TV, you're supposed to show, don't tell. Sometimes they just don't do a very good job of showing because there isn't much. So they tell instead.
David, you're not allowed to manifest this.
I'm not.
I will call Donna right now and have her predict for me. I'll have her talk to the spirits and change the future or the past in this case. So that doesn't happen. Don't speak it into existence, okay?
Okay. I'll just think it.
But yeah, I honestly have no idea who to predict. I'm maybe Dylan, because the other thing is you've got 5 from Death Row. If Chris goes, for example, say Chris actually gets murdered. Now there's only 4 left. If they start to sprinkle around those names to try to get maybe 5 out so that they can stay safe, why not frame somebody who was in Death Row? Spread it around that maybe one of the 5 would have gotten picked and spread Dylan's name because he spoke first. That's probably what I would do if I was in this season.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Dylan. I'm going to say Chris and Dylan. I'm going to say we're down to 3 on Death Row after Monday's episode.
Okay. All right. So overall, what did you think of the first episode?
I loved it. I don't know if it's like the feelings or the fact that, I'm able to watch it without anxiety and, and knowing the behind the scenes, seeing the host again and reliving. Because honest to God, as early as I left, I got to experience literally every part of the game except for being murdered, which I'm okay with because I didn't. I think that sucks. So I got to experience every part of the game. I loved it. I loved every second of my time there. And watching it now brings back those memories. And then I can also still root for people and I can judge everyone. So I'm thrilled. I thought the music was great. The host was awesome. I loved the way that they laid out everything. I think production is on top of its game this year. And I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I just, it's a problem I have with the Traitors over. I don't like the cliffhangers.
It's awful.
I hate it even more on The Anonymous, which is made by the same production. It's even worse there.
It's brutal.
They build up the whole episode and then they leave you hanging. It's like, no, tell a story. Say, this is why this person is being targeted and boom, then this person. Don't tell a whole story and then come back in the first minute of the next show when everyone's forgotten the story that you told.
I think I would like it better anyway. I would have more of I need to come back and see this next week, knowing who goes, because I would want to see breakfast. I want to see that reaction at breakfast. Yes. I want to see them pretend like they don't know who got cut. I want to see everybody's reaction of why did so-and-so leave? I love that. One thing I will say, because I know I've been watching The Anonymous as well, and they do that every episode. One thing I have noticed with the Traitors is that they seem to be doing that, sometimes during the seasons.
Right.
And I mean, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like they don't do it every single episode. I feel like some episodes we get that closure.
It depends. I don't think we ever truly get closure.
On season finale, you'll get closure.
Yeah. But yeah, The Anonymous, it drives me crazy.
It's frustrating, yeah.
I'm complaining on Twitter every single week. I've complained.
I follow you. I know. I follow you.
Yeah. Now it is time to finish the Traitor games. Ooh. Melissa, did you lie to me?
I did.
Well, that
I did
sucks
lie.
because I totally forgot. Like I said, I totally
forgot to
pay
look at
attention.
yours.
So I'll try to guess first.
Okay. I completely forgot to detect your lie. I was
Yeah.
so thinking about my own.
It's probably something from you were talking about production. I'm looking at your eyes. I'm looking to see if they water,
Okay.
or if you're stroking your beard. You're vibrating. I don't know. I it's something from production. You know, when you did this or that or the other thing, or or maybe you said you emailed Cedric. The best I could do is something from production. But I don't know. I don't know.
It was actually a bold-faced lie. I don't think it's something you would remember anyway, like from last year.
Oh.
But I said that in the first mission last year that we actually made 30K and they only got 20K so far after 2 things. But the truth is, I thought about this on the spot because I was actually going to tell you they're at 20K and our very first mission last year was 20K. And then as I was saying it, I was like, say 30. That's your lie. So I said that we made 30K on our first mission last year, but it was actually 20. And I only remembered that because I watched it with my daughter last night. It's the first time I actually sat down and watched the episode with her. She's 5, so she could care less last year.
She's one of those lying kindergartners.
She's trying to be for sure. She tells me she wants to be on Traitors with me. Like, girl, I gotta get, you've got more of a chance at this point than I got it going back. But that was my lie. So
okay,
I guess I'm better.
Very good. Now, did you detect mine?
So you did lie. You did lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say I was not paying attention. Your lie is that something to do with Survivor. Did you threw in a couple? No, because you threw in a couple of Survivor things. Now, see the beard, David. I'm gonna say it had. I have no idea. No. You lied when you said that. I know that the Kirsten on BB Can thing is true, and I know that you haven't seen Big Brother Canada, but I think that you lied about like not watching Canadian reality shows. There's something there that you lied about.
Yes, there was. And I knew it was risky.
I knew it was
a risk. I purposely put it in. I'm like, well, because like you said, you follow me on Twitter and you follow me on Instagram.
Oh, because you watched Amazing Race Canada this season.
Exactly. Yes. I knew it was a big risk.
God.
But I wanted to throw it in there just to see if you would catch it. I almost got you. I came so close.
If I had to have been paying attention, I think I would have like nailed it. But I totally forgot about like picking up on the lie. But I'm very proud of myself. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
There you go.
Okay.
It was.
Send me back to the manor. Let's go.
I did watch. It was the first Canadian show I have seen other than Traitors. And I only watched it because Kevin and Gerline were on. So.
How good was that season? I normally never watch Amazing Race. I find it dreadful. I find it very boring. But this season was. And there were 2 newfies on there too.
Yes, I almost said something about the newfies. Good. And I was like, oh, no, wait, that would really give away the lie at that point if I said that.
I wouldn't have picked up on it. I would not have picked up on it. So funny.
All right, well, congratulations. You got me.
Yes, thank you.
So there we have it. The Traitors Canada Season 2 premiere. If people want to reach out to you and talk to you, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's probably the best place to get in touch with me. I am at Best on the Rock, DA, Da Rock. I'm also the same name on TikTok and the same name on. I have a YouTube channel from a couple of old podcasts that I have done. It's at Best on the Rock on YouTube. And I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll be started up again soon. Basically, I just interview people that I find interesting. There are some old Traitors members on there. And what are the other platforms? I am on Twitter as at Melissa Agent 21. It's a very old account and I only just started using it. And I just basically I retweet Trader things and I retweet things about Big Brother. And I send Big Brother Canada petitions to try and get that back on the air. So I'm not that interesting on Twitter, but feel free to follow me. It's better to get in touch on Instagram. That's where I am.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody could find all my various accounts through my link tree at linktree/David Bloomberg with a dot before the EE in the URL there. Or you could find me directly on Twitter and Blue Sky as @DavidBloomberg, on Threads as @DavidBloombergTV. I am on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as @DavidBloombergTV, where I have been posting at least 3, often more, reality TV short videos per day. Right now, mostly a mix of Big Brother and Survivor, with a few from The Circle and The Anonymous. And, of course, I'll be adding in the Traitors Canada. So, again, @DavidBloombergTV on any of those. Also, you should make sure to check out the account for this podcast overall. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as the Traitors Podcast, and on Twitter as @TheTraitorPod. You can also email the TraitorPodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help support the costs of publishing this podcast, you can drop Matthew a few bucks or loonies or whatever they are in Canada at Coffee, which is coffee.com/Matthew Keeley. That's KO-FI, coffee.com. Also, special thanks to Liz, who donated recently.
Thanks, Liz.
Melissa, thank you so much for joining me for the premiere. Listeners could never tell if your eyes were watering. Mm-hmm. I didn't see them water at all. Nope. I didn't see you vibrating or have any other noticeable tells. Good job there.
I've honed in my skills. Listen,
yes.
Like I said, I left the manor and I have not stopped thinking about what to do better if I'm ever invited back. So all right. I'm working on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matthew and I will be back next week to discuss episode 2. We will talk to everyone then. Bye.
To everyone else, this is a task. But to you, it's a launch pad. Your starting block. This ain't a task. This is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G 5G on us at your local Boost retailer. Moto G 5G on us when you switch with ID verification and new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. See participating dealers for details.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
You've got enough on your plate. Mundane meals shouldn't be one of them. Get an endless variety of the freshest, best-tasting food from award-winning chefs delivered to your door with Cook Unity, all at a fraction of the cost and time you're spending now. Take a load off and leave your meal prep to Cook Unity. Affordable food crafted by award-winning chefs delivered straight to your door. Go to cookunity.com/podcast or enter code podcast before checkout for 50% off your first week.